Wormwood Village, Episode 4 The Trauma. The dawn sky above Wormwood Village was grey and lifeless. Ezra suddenly realized that Rakesh was nowhere to be seen. As the villagers, soldiers, and the village chief continued moving through the devastated landscape, Ezra turned back in panic and ran frantically through the ruins. Without warning, he stumbled and fell. To his horror, he discovered Rakesh lying unconscious in the mud. Rakesh! Rakesh! Ezra lifted his friend's head and desperately tried to wake him, but there was no response. Tears filled his eyes as he cried for help. Several villagers heard his screams and rushed to assist him. Two women volunteered to help carry Rakesh. Together they continued behind the others beneath the silent dawn sky. As they walked, scenes of horror surrounded them. The air smelled of death. Nothing remained standing. The mighty flood had brought everything down. Thick fog mist covered the destroyed village. Wormwood had become unrecognizable. At last the women discovered the partially ruined church. Though its walls had suffered greatly, part of the structure and roof still remained standing. They entered and laid the unconscious Rakesh upon the muddy floor. Meanwhile, the village chief and his soldiers prevented the other villagers from entering. Ezra managed to sleep inside. Outside, the survivors gathered quietly and shared the terrible things they had witnessed. Even strangers comforted one another. At the corner of the ruined church stood a grieving woman. Her breathing became uncontrollable and she cried bitterly. Suddenly, a breeze moved through the broken church bell. It rang 6 times. Moments later, it rang 5 times. The villagers stared in confusion as the woman fled into darkness. At that moment, Rakesh awoke. Ezra rushed forward and embraced his friend with relief. Outside, torches burned in the hands of soldiers surrounding the church. The village chief stood nearby, his face cold and merciless. Get out! His command forced Ezra and the weakened Rakesh from the church. Soldiers occupied the entrance, allowing no one inside. As evening approached, the survivors climbed a barren hill overlooking the destroyed village. The village chief walked ahead, followed by soldiers and villagers. One of the women supported Rakesh, while Ezra held his other arm. Dark clouds lingered overhead. By the time they reached the hill, sorrow had consumed every heart. Some had lost husbands, others wives. Many had lost children. Years of labor had been swept away in a single night. Several villagers collapsed from exhaustion and trauma. Soon, everyone gathered before the village chief. Silence fell. His stern eyes demanded absolute quiet. Then his powerful voice thundered across the crowd. We are going to begin the collection of the dead. You shall help one another in gathering the bodies. Take them to the outskirts of the village. There you shall identify your loved ones. His words pierced every heart. We shall undertake a funeral procession tomorrow at sunrise. Afterward, I shall present a development plan for the Wormwood Village. We shall restore these ruins. We shall revive Wormwood once again, and this time it shall be better than before. I shall even establish a town for the village. A few uncertain claps echoed through the village. The village chief ignored them and continued. Everything that has been destroyed shall be restored again. We shall rise from these ruins. Soon, entire crowd joined in applause, not because they were happy, but because they desperately wanted hope. Only two remained silent, Rakesh and Ezra. The village chief noticed them, but said nothing. Night fell, the dreadful work began. Driven by fear of the chief, the villagers searched through the muddy ruins. With every discovery came foolish cries of agony. The entire evening and night became a season of mourning. Some villagers collapsed in grief, others tore their garments in anguish. She was my future. She was all I had. What will I do now? Who will take care of me when I'm old? Cried the grieving woman. Her cries joined countless others echoing throughout the ruins. No songs were heard, no laughter remained, only grief, only tears. Morning arrived. Rakesh's eyes had become bloodshot from endless weeping. His clothes were torn and covered with mud. Ezra's clothes were equally ruined. Many villagers had not slept. Others had collapsed onto the muddy ground from exhaustion. Then, the morning breeze blew once more. The church bell rang in the distance. Its lonely sound reached the mourners gathered for the funeral procession. Countless fresh graves stretched before them. Pain and sorrow filled the air. Rakesh slowly reached the grave of Elder Mika. He fell to his knees, motionless like a statue. His bloodshot eyes stared at the fresh mound of earth. Suddenly, a woman emerged from the crowd. Her face was covered with dirt and tears. She walked slowly toward the Elder Mika's grave. Then, she fell flat upon her face. "Please, forgive me, Elder Mika," cried the woman. She rose to her knees and burst to tears. "Fear overcame me. I was afraid. I secretly went to the village chief. I revealed the location of the hidden prayer room to him." Before she could say another word, the church bell rang 5 times. The villagers froze. Suddenly, a violent wind swept across the graves. Dust rose from the ground and surrounded the woman like a tornado. The wind grew stronger. Villagers covered their faces. Soldiers hid their eyes. Even the village chief stepped back. Dust filled the air. Nothing could be seen. Ezra seized Rakesh's hand tightly as both hid their faces. Moments later, the storm ceased. Silence returned as the dust settled. The villagers looked in horror. The woman stood motionless like a statue. Sand covered her body. Dust filled her eyes. Then she collapsed to the ground. Death had come once again and departed. Ezra stood speechless. Behind Rakesh stood the village chief, silent, watching. Suddenly, Rakesh fell to his knees and cried toward heaven, "Lord, why haven't my prayers availed a good result? Why are you teaching me through all this? Why has everything ended like this?" His voice echoed among the countless graves. The village chief heard every word, and though he spoke nothing, he kept all of Rakesh's words in his heart. The wind whispered across the cemetery. The church bell became silent, and beneath the grey heavens of Wormwood Village, grief, mystery, and unanswered questions remained among the graves. End of Wormwood Village, episode 4. Watch for episode 5, Wormwood Village.
Heaven and earth is singing. Oh, the mighty chorus. Hallelujah. Nigeria is singing. Oh, the mighty chorus. Hallelujah. My family will forever sing. Oh, the mighty chorus. Hallelujah. This nation will forever sing. Hallelujah, the song of victory. Hallelujah, the last sound. Hey, hallelujah. Ìwọ ló ní ògo. Ìwọ ló ní ògo. Ìwọ ló ní ògo. Jésù ló ní ògo. Bàbá ló ní ògo. Over Nigeria. Ìwọ ló ní ògo. Jésù ló ní ògo. Bàbá ìwọ ló ní ògo. Ìwọ ló ní ògo. Over my life. Jésù ló ní ògo. Ìwọ ló ní ògo. Bàbá ló ní ògo.